Tempers Acquired by Marcel James Brown. If you would happen to awaken some beautiful morning with a feeling that all is well with the world, go back to sleep. Or if you are one of those fellows that must be up and about, work in the garden, do anything but take a ride in the family car. Once out in the stream of humanity on wheels, your personality undergoes a decided change for the worse. As you test your skill as a driver, it soon turns out to be a test for survival. You begin to wonder where all the incompetent drivers come from. They seem to take a faintest delight in irritating you. In the meantime, that cheerful outlook on life that engulfs your entire being on getting up will take a decided turn, but not for the better. In order to prove this statement, we will take an imaginary test ride. The car must be in perfect running condition. Otherwise, the test will be ruined before we get out onto the highway, along with your temper. We pull up to a stop sign before entering the main artery of travel and wait for a line of traffic which is spaced the right distance apart and traveling at a speed that is calculated to thwart any move you might have to join the procession. Our trip has barely begun, but already I can detect a slow rise in your temper brought on by this delay. To give you the benefit of the doubt, we will label this as a slight irritation. There is no need at this early stage of our ride to lose control of our better judgment. If we are to cross this line, we must have perfect coordination of all the body. You detect a spacing that is slightly wider than the others. Somebody goofed on his timing and managed to squeeze in between them. This provokes the laggard driver, so he speeds up in an attempt to run you down. You glance up at the image of the rear view mirror and address a few well-chosen words to it, which is lost to everyone but the occupants of your car. You feel much better since putting him in his place, but your elation is short-lived. He doesn't like the looks of your back of your neck and decides to put you in your place, which according to his line of thought is at the rear. He zooms recklessly around you, and as soon as his front wheels are even with yours, edges in. You put the brakes on just in time to avoid the accident, and this allows him to ease in within inches to spare. While you are doing a slow burn, he is bragging to his wife about the expert handling of the family car. On our imaginary trip, we encounter stoplights. We know that when the light is red, we must stop and wait for the signal to change. The state troopers know that we must stop, but the eager beaver in back of us tries to blast us through with his horn. Remarks such as, "Your horn works now, try your lights," or "What's your hurry, Buster?" comes racing through our minds. We know he cannot hear us, so we wait until the lights change to go. Proceed with this calculated shrewdness, all designed to further irritate our adversary in back. You will notice as the trip progresses or grows longer, tempers grow shorter until we discreetly pull over for some refreshments. As we advance along our imaginary journey, you have noticed that the slight irritations we have encountered in the first part of the trip have given way to anger, and the driver who we treated with disdain at first is now our sworn enemy. We cannot tolerate his arrogant ways any longer. Our anger has warped any vestige of reasoning we might have had at the outset of our trip, until the other driver is an unspeakable something or other, not fit to associate with. Until we can ignore the faults, fancied or otherwise, of the other driver, and maintain a semblance of sanity while on the highways, there will be accidents and people killed. Cars become instruments of death or a pleasure vehicle, depending on the driver.